Podcast, TruthSeekahs podcast. Buckle up, everyone. We're going to talk aliens, UFOs, ghosts, spiritual and paranormal. From all of the three moons, beyond your wildest dreams. Nice.
TruthSeekah and or its affiliates are not responsible for any strange phenomena that may occur during or after listening to this podcast, which may include the following: heightened senses of awareness, psychic abilities, UFO sightings, alien contact, time loss, out-of-body experiences, ringing in the ears, ESP, lucid dreaming, increased synchronicities, astral projection, telepathy, stronger intuition, levitation, miraculous healings, and or remote viewing. Please be advised to listen at your own discretion.
Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? To a place to walk on troubled seas, faith to stand when I don't believe. I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come?
You are now locked into the TruthSeekah podcast.
Gargoyles! Psychics! Everything's ungodly! Dark Savage!
Streaming live at TruthSeekah.com.
She's not a Christian!
Give it up, y'all.
Your portal to the paranormal, esoteric, and all things spiritual.
She's tampering in dark sided stuff!
And now, your host, TruthSeekah.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How y'all doing? I'm your host, TruthSeekah. This is the TruthSeekah podcast. I'm excited. I'm delighted to be with you guys again for another amazing episode. This is what we do, man. Awesome conversations, really cool people, people from all walks of life, people who have an inspirational story, a beautiful message, and who have a piece of the puzzle, for sure. And so my guests today definitely have a beautiful piece of the puzzle. We're going to hear their story today. We're going to talk to them, get in their heads a little bit. If anybody has any questions or any comments, make sure that you're typing those in the chats, no matter where you're listening to us at: Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, all of those different platforms. I'll be watching the comments here. So I want to say a huge thank you to everybody supporting my work via Patreon. This is a listener-supported, listener-funded show. Doesn't exist without your help. So thank you for partnering with me, partnering with the vision to bring this message to the nations, man. And you guys are awesome. Y'all share in the harvest for every soul that is touched, everyone who is inspired and encouraged, man. It means the world. Shout out to all the subscribers. Shout out to Mike Bone. They just subscribed to the channel as well. I just got that alert while we're sitting here doing the intros, man. And I want to say a huge thank you again to all the patrons. Everybody's been supporting since day one. And all the new patrons within the last week or so. I want to give a shout out to Amber Baxter. Shout out to you, my friend, for coming on. Hayden Robert Hughes, thank you for coming on. Darren, I butcher your last name, man. I'm just going to keep it at that. Darren, man, thank you for coming on. And Cache Milan, man, thank you guys for believing in the work, partnering with me, and helping me bring this vision to the table. If you'd like to support, head on over to patreon.com/TruthSeekah. There you get access to my entire discography of music, which is 200 plus songs. You get access to our Thursday night School of the Mystics, which is the live meditation and prayer sessions that we do every Thursday, which have been really beautiful the last couple weeks. So make sure you get access to all that stuff, behind the scenes stuff, really cool things. TruthSeekah.com, patreon.com/TruthSeekah. And if you have not had a chance to get it yet, Spirit Realm, my new book is here. Angels, Demons, Spirits, and the Sovereignty of God. Forward by Jordan Maxwell. The audio version is available for free download as well. Link is in the description. Check it out. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into today's episode. And before I welcome these guys onto the show, I want to play a little clip, man. My first impression of these guys, where I first saw them at, was from America's Got Talent, Little Mike and Funny Bone. This was one of the, I think it was, the earlier years of AGT, and what I'm saying, me and the fam were watching, and we fell in love with these guys back then. This was in 2013, I believe it is, back in the day. Let me see if I can show you guys this little video here, right here. Check it out, guys. If you don't know who they are, here they are.
I'm ready for you guys. Well, what is the name of your group?
I'm Little Mike. I'm Funny Bone. And together we are Mike Bone.
Mike Bone! You guys are brothers?
Yes, sir.
What are your real names?
They call me Jesus.
Jesus.
It's what happens when Indians name children.
Right. You're Native American?
Yes, sir.
You're Jesus?
Both of us. We're both
What do you mean?
Jesus.
Is your real name Jesus?
Yeah, I was born on
And your
Christmas.
real name is Jesus, too?
Yeah. You know, the sad thing is there's one between us, and his name is Jesus.
I see. How tall are you guys? Just so we know.
52 inches.
Hard to get girls at that size, or no problem?
Just give me a chair. I'll be all right.
Way to go. Way to go. Just give us a brief rundown of what we're about to see.
We rap it, and we do.
Hey! Well, they crunk natives ads. Yeah.
Nick Cannon.
Funny bomb. Hey. Do the rain dance, shout it, do the rain dance. Do the rain dance, shout it, do the rain dance. Do the rain dance, shout it, do the rain. Shout it, do the rain, shout it, do the rain dance. Fellas, ladies, get crunk, jump around like a native. And let me see you do the rain.
That's it. That was their AGT debut, where America fell in love with you guys. Little Mike and Funny Bone, man. Welcome to the TruthSeekah podcast, guys. What's going on?
Yes, what's up?
Together known as Mike Bone as the group.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, man. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing or seeing that clip, though, right?
Actually, it's always entertaining to watch.
I love seeing myself.
It was a good experience for us. Our first experience with quote unquote acting, and then rehearsing different what is it? Scenes, yeah, because that encouraged us to pursue a acting career. Yeah. Definitely.
That's what's up. I was watching one of your live streams, and you were talking about some stuff that you guys got coming up that y'all been filming as well. Have y'all played in any other shows, sitcoms, movies, anything like that?
We have a movie that we're featured in. It's called Lord Finn, and it's about it's a very complicated movie about mental health. So, I mean, basic story is there's a guy. It's a story about 4 people, and at the very end of the movie, you figure out, oh, it's just this one guy. So,
my kind of movie. Sounds good. Sounds good. So, man, we talk about the music a little bit, man. We talk about AGT, you know what I'm saying, opening those doors for you guys. Like, what was that experience like, you know what I'm saying, before and after? Are doors still opening up for you guys because of that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Every day, man. It was like right after. Okay, so here's the thing. So when we were on America's Got Talent, the same day, we were also on PBS. And so we, at that time, can't do it now because of COVID, but at that time, we take like 2 or 3 weeks to ourselves, and we go to like a church camp or a church retreat and get fed, you know, spiritually, cancel all the shows and whatnot, and just kind of, you know, do that. And we were at a church camp, and they had us on stage doing a Native Americans Got Talent or whatever. And as soon as we get off, our phone started blowing up. I'm like, we just saw you on TV. I'm like, what? No lie. When they played us rain dancing, we were on stage rain dancing.
Nice.
So yeah, our phone started blowing up. Yeah. We had to do some work. Yeah. Because what we didn't know is we had his personal number all over Facebook.
Yeah.
So, because, you know, you're trying to get shows, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was just going off. We were like, oh man, we got to go to work. Take out all day.
Yeah, so don't go looking for it there to the fans.
We hunted it all down.
The phone number we push now is our manager. So please don't blow him up.
I know, like, you know what I'm saying, getting started, who was that? Mike Jones was doing that, right? Putting his number in every song and naming his albums after his phone number and stuff to get, it's crazy. Hit Mike Jones up on the low.
The HGT experience was different behind the scenes because they had us, like he said, acting different scenes, like telling us what to do or say. And
matter of fact, the first part of when we first came out, we had to do that 2 times because they had mics out there, and so like
we didn't need the mic stand.
We didn't need the mic stand, so we ran out there and we like, yeah. And then the crowd wasn't as hyped.
The crowd saw us twice. Yeah,
the first time, but when we did the little jump and tried to grab the mic. That's when they were like, these guys are pretty cool. So then they were even more excited when we went out the second time.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So what about like doing shows and stuff? You said people were hitting y'all up. Did y'all just like start just traveling, doing shows, doing youth groups and events and stuff like that?
So we treated our rap career as you would any other business. So we had business cards with our phone number on it. Our car had our phone number on it.
We had the car, had our name on it. It's on YouTube as well. Yeah. And we just pushed ourselves. We looked up to rock bands and how they promoted their careers.
Yeah, so our name was our logo.
Yeah, so we did a logo and we got shirts, we got cards, we got everything we can push and just put everything into it.
Man, there's a huge difference with the rock band stuff because I do it both, right, or have done it both. And so we used to throw just a lot of like Christian metal shows, and they were like underground shows, and I could throw a show, and literally sometimes we would get 300 kids to come out to a metal show. We do a rap show, and I can only get, we call them artist shows because you book a whole bunch of artists and the only people who show up is the artists. So you get 30 artists to perform and you got 30 people in your crowd, and maybe they bring their grandmother. But if you do a rock show, you're getting kids from everywhere. And as far as like pushing a movement, like Mike Bone, the movement, understanding that from like a rock perspective as well. If you look at some of these bands like Korn or Deftones or stuff like that, these fans are getting like the actual names of the bands tattooed on them. I don't know anybody who has T.I. tattooed on them or Mike Jones tattooed on them or whatever. So it's the difference of like pushing a movement versus me as an artist or us as an idea or a movement. So I definitely get where you're coming from on trying to kind of push yourself like a band would, a rock band would, for sure.
Yeah. And speaking of tattoos, we actually got like 4 fans now.
4 fans got
Mike Bone tattoos.
Nice. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're pushing it as a, you know what I'm saying, a movement. It's something bigger than you guys, like an idea, right? You got the native pride behind it. It's not, you got the Christ side behind it, pushing Jesus and God and consciousness and things like that. So it's not just about us and what we're bringing to the table. It's about your people. It's about everybody who identifies with that idea. So that's definitely the way to push a movement, man, and to inspire people. And it seems like it's working out for y'all. When it comes to like the Native American side, man, putting some of that stuff in your songs, have y'all caught any flack or feedback? Because you don't go too deep with it, right? You put a little bit stuff here and there, rain dancing and, you know what I'm saying, summoning in the rain and stuff like that. Have y'all caught any weird looks and stuff from any of the church crowd from the Native American side?
Oh yeah, like
daily. Nah.
I mean, because we perform on reservations, so you have those traditional people that like to argue and
social media. We get the those comments that I can't believe you guys fell into the what is it, the white man's religion.
Yeah.
I just posted a response to somebody's tweet today, and we spent so much time defending Jesus because of the genocide of other evil things that many white people have done and still do while claiming his name. And it's hardened the hearts of many Native Americans and other people too.
Oh, yeah.
Slaves back in the day, you know, they said the same thing, thinking that was the white man's religion.
Still say it, yep.
Yeah, so like one thing I tell them, I was like, look, man, what we did, because we were from the city and we never were raised traditional. When we started finding out our culture because we're Christian, I was like, okay, so that's kind of like what as Christians do. They have their ceremonies at church, and they do their ceremonies at church, like with the crackers and the wine or the baptism. I like those are ceremonies basically. So, I mean, for us natives, when you don't have a go-to, the Bible, you just go off of what you know or what you, when you pray, you receive messages, and we had messages without the Bible, and God was telling us all the different things, and it was working because we were putting different medicines together, and we were like, oh, well, God gave me that knowledge, just like
Living
a
in
doctor,
harmony with peace,
just like a
with
doctor
nature.
would receive the knowledge of all that studying to, find out what medicines work for what. Is the same thing with the the indigenous cultures. So
for sure.
I say, if you want to burn sage, if you want to go to a sweat, just make sure you do it in the name of Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Don't
It is.
Burn some sage.
And a lot of people are like, they'll come at it sideways, be like, you don't really need sage. God is all powerful, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, man, if I could piss off a devil in more ways than one, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I heard you guys give a shout out to the Creek Nation in one of the songs as well. And I don't know if you can see it on here, but I got the PCI,
nice.
Porch Creek Band of Indians. Used to live on the reservation here in Porch, Alabama.
Really?
And yeah, man. So definitely, I'm in touch with my native roots and the indigenous side of our culture, and it's beautiful, man. It was several years ago, man. I kind of, my Christian walk began to get a little bit deeper and begin to be open up to more things just outside of church. Put it that way. Even my studies in the scripture started to go deeper, and I just went to the powwow one year, man. Being real sensitive, and there was something different in the air, bro. Like seeing everybody dressed up, seeing all the, the dances and just understanding the culture and being in touch with the culture. Just the air was different, man. I began to cry. I began to weep, man. Just there. I was trying to hold it back though. Just this moment of these people who were just in touch with the earth, who were in touch with God, who were like these peaceful people. And like, for the most part, the only thing the world gets to see is this one day, where everybody comes from all over to be a part of the powwows and stuff. And so just I had that moment, man. Shook somebody's hand, and he was a brother in Christ too. It was an old native man. And I shook his hand, but you could feel the energy there. Like I felt the love coming off of this dude, and knowing the stuff that he knows. It was like just mind blowing. It's like, man, it was so beautiful. And so ever since then, man, I've been a little bit more deeper into the Native American spirituality and mixing it with my Christian beliefs and stuff, and like not even trying to listen to those conversations again from the native side saying, oh, you need to, let go of the white man's religion and Jesus or whatever. And then you got the Christians saying, hey, man, don't burn sage because you're going to let demons in your house, and sage ain't got no power and stuff and all that. So it's beautiful. So you guys are there too on both sides, right? You guys embrace both sides.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have to, man, because God gave us the knowledge in that time, for certain things that, most people today would be like, oh, that wouldn't work. And we're like, are you sure about that? Because I'm pretty sure, like, if they passed it down from elder to elder, there's something to it. Yeah. So
it's like the fires in California. I don't know if you've seen the stories on the news, but Native Americans used to regularly burn the forests and wilderness, and that would prevent what is happening now.
Yep.
And ever since the colonizers came over and told the natives they can't do that, their culture thing, now you see what's happening. It got out of control. And even with the languages, like the Navajo, this country would not be here. What was it, World War II?
Yeah.
Where they used the code talkers.
Mm-hmm.
The same language that they were told not to speak saved this country.
Yeah, so, and also on another note, like, Funny Bone had, back in the day, had a lot of chronic back pain. and we went to a sweat, and we were iffy about it because of our Christian faith.
Yeah.
And we're in the sweat, and it's getting really hot, and we're like, oh my God, I can't do this. And like by the end of the sweat, I mean, we hung in there, but by the end of the sweat, we're crawling out of that hut, and he just stands right up, and he's like, yo. And not to mention that the guy that was, running the sweat, he was, we were praying to actual Jesus, and a lot of natives or indigenous people say creator, but this guy was using the name of Jesus. But I mean, if you say creator, you already know who the creator is. It's in the Bible.
Sure.
I'm just saying, but like, just because a group who was evil-minded gave him a name doesn't change the fact of what that name did for us as a himself, and not from their side of the thing.
Right.
So, I mean, it's one thing for somebody to go to church and get offended by what a pastor says and then turn their back on God. But that was the pastor saying that, not God saying that.
Yeah.
So I would never turn my back on my faith because of what somebody who claimed to be faithful to God did. Yeah,
there was a even several years ago, they found some Native American pottery. It was that was actually dated back to the early days of America, and it had Hebrew writing on it. The Native Americans were using Hebrew back then in cuneiform. It was interesting. So there's a lot of stuff that's like, this Jesus thing might not be as far off from our heritage as we thought in the first place. And I got on this kick for a while, just going through like the bloodlines and trying to trace back who these people are according to the Bible. And there's a lot of people who believe that the Native Americans are from the tribe of Gad in the Bible. And there's a lot of research on there. There's a lot of prophecies that happen to the Native American people, and that line up with what happened to the tribe of Gad. Now, that'll send you on your own journeys and looking into stuff. But there were several years, man, that I got really deep into that stuff. And just saying, because, everybody wants to be the people of the book. Everybody wants, that's talking about me, that's us. And at the same time, people are looking for identity too. And if you don't have an identity, they can give you one. And that's what we see a lot going on even today as a, America, just it's like a melting pot of all types of people groups and faiths and backgrounds and stuff like that. So, you know what I'm saying? It's beautiful, and we're not as far off as we thought, I think, man. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Be able to trace it back.
Definitely crazy and deep.
So as far as like a testimony, man, when you guys got saved, gave your life to Christ, was it something that you've always been into? Was y'all in the streets at all? Or like, what's y'all story, man, as far as giving your life to the Lord?
We were Baptist church. Yeah, so we were Southern Baptist.
Yeah.
Like a
Hellfire?
Indian Southern Baptist. So it was kind of like where they would sing and it'd sound like they would sing about joy, but they would sound dead.
Yeah.
They
Had
got
no
joy.
Yeah.
Down in my heart. I'd be like, where?
Down in my heart. Where?
Where's this joy they talking about? Right? But like, when I was younger, we were forced to go to church. Didn't really think nothing of it. Just thought it was something like
routine.
It was basically a waiting room. So, growing up in bad neighborhoods, I got into bad things. So, gang violence, because I was being abused at home. I wasn't afraid to fight. So, just, doing that, causing nonsense, learn how to pick locks, learn how to open car doors, started doing ambushes on gang members. But that's back when we wasn't busting. That was when we was locking. So like, it catch you in the mall, you from a different set. I come up, I hit you, you fight me. I'm kind of small, so you probably jumping me, but my homeboys is around the corner and they jump you. And that's how that went down. But like,
it don't go like that no more though, right?
No, it don't go like that no more. You probably get shot now.
Yeah.
But like, that was only a season. Praise God, that was only a season for me, because one of my homeboys died and I was just like, man, this ain't even worth it. And I just started trying to find an outlet besides what I was already into. I tried drawing, and because I was mentally messed up, I had to go to therapy. The therapist told me to write down my feelings, so I found out poems. Thanks to Tupac, my therapist gave me a Tupac poetry book and whatnot, and I just started writing poems. But my poems was like crazy scary. Like I'd probably be labeled as a terrorist now if I released some of my old poems. But like it was very bloody and just talking about my feelings and whatnot. But in that, my uncle gave me first he gave me DC Talk CD. And I was like, this is pretty cool.
DC Talk.
And I was just learning how to dance like Michael Jackson. And then
I've seen those videos too in the documentary. Yep.
And I also was he gave me a T-Bone CD. And I was like, dang, this dude is raw. I'm like, this is what I was listening to, kind of like. And then like I went to
what year?
He had me
90 something. It was before 97.
96 probably.
Wow. Okay.
But like, I don't know, but so back 97, I went to I don't know if you remember who the power team was.
Oh yeah.
But like they was bending bars and breaking bricks and stuff like that.
Phone books.
Yeah, like ripping phone books in half. So like I went to this little thing at a church and they had the gospel gangsters preaching and rapping. So I was like,
oh, double G's.
I was like, yo. And then this is what got me. So like I'm chilling in the bleachers because it was at a high school thing, and I'm just chilling in the bleachers, and I see one of my, quote unquote enemies, and he walks up and he puts his rag down and a gun. And I'm like, dang, that broke me. I'm like, dang. So I had that, because of my gang mentality, I had that color bound spirit on me. So I wouldn't wear any other color besides what I was.
Yep.
Even after I got jumped out. And so like, I was like, dang, that broke me. So I was like, yo, I want to finish the rest of this, whatever this is locking me down, I want to finish it off. And when I did that, I started, my rhymes started changing. I did a poem to a beat at an elementary school because I wanted to influence the kids like I saw the gospel gangsters do. And the poem that I wrote was about, my homeboy dying, and then, not to go into that gang life or whatnot, but it basically took off from there because a little kid came up and said, man, I liked your rap. And I was like, no, it was a poem to a jazz beat. But dang, I'm going to try that. And then thank God that there was a local Christian hip hop radio station here at the time. And yes. I recorded it was the most terrible recording ever, but like it was like karaoke machine, and I recorded it once and then I moved it over and then overdubbed onto that. And then so it was like a lot of fuzz in the background, but it did what it did. And I sent it into the radio station. Everybody was like, yo, that kid can flow. And I was like, what? I found my calling.
That's what's up. Well, what kind of church did you guys get involved with, from going from like, the Baptist church to, did y'all get into, charismatic? Was it more open, more spiritual, if you will?
So we are very, we are church hoppers. Yes. So we've been to every church you could think of.
Got kicked out of a lot of churches. Just for the way we praise God, I guess.
So like we've been to we grew up in an Indian Baptist church. Then from there we went to a Southern Baptist church where they had the quartet singing. Mm-hmm. And then almost like a Catholic type of church. I think it was called Pentecostal or something like that, where the girls wear dresses all the way down to
like
their ankles.
Presbyterian type stuff, yeah.
And they sing the word Amen. I'm like, whoa, this is creepy.
Is it the robot one?
And then from there we went to a church that was very free spirited, and they had like, it was like a mega church basically.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is pretty cool. It's like going to a concert, but it's too big. It don't feel like you're
Personal.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like then we went to a smaller church that a death metal band invited us to.
Nice.
And so that felt more personal, and just the music was good, the preaching was raw. And then we went to a bigger church that was similar to like that, but like not so much. It was like they mixed hip hop and rock, and they had a DJ playing, and I was like, this is pretty cool. And the first sermon that he had, he was all like, so he was like, we're gonna talk about the power of the tongue. And nobody was really paying attention because it's kind of a bigger church and a bunch of wild kids. It was down in the city, so everybody's like, yeah. And then he's like, okay, hold on. And he pulls out this ice chest and he pulls out a cow's tongue and starts swinging it around and starts preaching with it. And I'm like, yo, this is awesome. So we went to that church for a minute, and that church, it was called City Church, and that, man, we stuck around for a minute up in there. And then when that church kind of fell through, we was just like, well, where are we going to go? We started going to Black Pentecostal Church, which was cool. Then we went to it was something called like Confirmed Word of God Church. When I'm really spiritual, like if you practice your gifts, you'll do this and you'll do that. And that we kind of fell into that. Like, I was like, oh, I'm going to be a healer and whatnot. And, what I'm saying? It just felt like when we were practicing our gifts, it was like we was playing like with a Ouija board or whatnot. Because it was like we was expecting demons to show up so we could fight.
Oh God,
so,
yeah.
So I was like,
for a demon behind every
right
scenario.
So like, I mean, they had good intentions. It just wasn't there. But I believe God, showed us that line of work so that we would be more powerful.
For sure. In
fighting evil spirits. But after that church, somebody invited us to their church and said, y'all should really come to my church. It's crunk at the time. It's crunk at the time. And then we were like, all right, we heard that before.
Yeah, we heard that. We didn't expect nothing.
We're like, yeah, we'll be there Sunday morning, and then we pull up. I'm like, we hear somebody bumping it. And we like, dang, who's in the parking lot just jamming like that in front of the church? And we get up to the doors and we open the doors, and it was the church bumping that in the
party lights going and
I was like, oh, that's cool. They play some good music while people are coming in. No, we was late.
That was worship.
There was worship. They was playing hip hop videos and rock videos and techno videos on a dance floor, and people were dancing, and that was their Sunday service. And I was like, yo, this is church home. They had graffitis everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, this place is crazy, yo. So we went there for a long time.
A cool minute. We did some shows up there. It was real cool, man.
Well, that's cool. You guys have been around the block. Like, so for some people, man, it can take a toll on you, right? What's the truth? Mm-hmm. Which one's real? Because all those churches you went to, they all claim to be the ones that have the truth or whatever.
I even went to an Israelite church.
Yeah.
Because the homeboy set me up. No. But I told him, I said, man, I'm gonna be real honest with you after this service. What I think of your church. Because I heard some stuff, and then like after the service, I'm like, real homie, you in a cult.
Yeah. Run. Yeah, I did the Israelite thing, you know what I'm saying? Especially studying the bloodlines and stuff like that. I did that for couple years, man. We got really deep into some of the bigger groups and had our own little chapter and stuff, and I had to kind of denounce that stuff and pray through some stuff, you know what I'm saying, that came with that.
It's, to me, if they would do away with the hate speech, it would be more good. It would be more good to them. But because the whole, I call it a history class. Yeah. The whole history class was like, dang, that's confirmation. For sure. Oh, dang, that's confirmation. But then they got into the whole white man going to hell and this person is a devil.
Who's the real devil? Yeah.
I'm like, yo, God was a God about love, homeboy. I don't know what y'all was reading, but that ain't what I read.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, man, that's crazy. Especially like for somebody to go through what Jesus went through just for a certain type of people, man. I'm like, yo, he did it for everybody, even if they were sinners just by their bloodline. He died for everyone. I don't believe in generational. I don't believe a generational curse can hold you back from the love of God.
Yeah, something your forefathers did makes it where you can't enter in. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy holes in that theology. It blew up because, again, people looking for identity, and you have a people, whether it's Native Americans, Mexicans, whether it's, the African Americans who've been told that they're nothing, that you're the scum of the earth, that you're nobody, and then you have someone comes through to actually build you up and show you that, no, you're royalty. You're the offspring of David. You are the same bloodline of Christ. Like what that does for an individual who's been told that they're worthless their whole life and that they're a mistake and all of this stuff, so you can see where that would catch on really fast, and that's why it's been growing. But yeah, all the militant stuff with it and the racism that's sprinkled in through there. Big thing that stood out to me for it when I ended up leaving is a lack of spirituality. It was all about just the word and knowing the word and how much you know. And trust me, they can tear that Bible apart. They taught me how to study the word. But when it come to praise and worship and dancing and getting in the spirit and all that, there's like zero at all.
No intimacy with God.
Yeah,
so, that's one thing that I noticed as well. So I was like, man, this is cool.
It was just so hate filled. It's just like, dude, how can you want to live your life with just that much hate? Yeah.
I think it's something cool to kind of pass through, but a lot of people get stuck there, man. I've lost some good friends in that movement and stuff, and real crazy. So let's talk about your influences a little bit, man. Like BC, you know what I'm saying, before Christ. Like what was some of the music that you guys were influenced by, and maybe even still to this day listen to some of the hip hop or some of the metal stuff that influenced you?
Ooh. And that's another reason our fan base is so broad, I think, is because we like all kinds of music from metal, R&B, and hip hop. So I guess you can hear that in our music. And I think Mike has a broader. I got a broader base of what I love in the metal area, but I really like Wage War, Demon Hunter, what's the Showdown, 1,000 Foot Crutch. Oh my god.
TFK for sure.
Yeah.
To really get intimate, I like Disciple. Man, there's that. Whoever writes their songs, oh my God. It reminds me. For a while. Yeah, it reminds me of when I first heard Plus One, which was a Christian pop group.
Yeah.
And they wrote love songs to God. And I'm like, yo, I've never heard. I wasn't really a big fan of NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, but when I heard Plus One, I was like, yo, I wouldn't have never thought to write music like that.
Yeah, I was a diehard fan of FFH, which is along the same vibe with that. Yeah. But it's like it's a difference, and you guys know this. I'm sure y'all have these songs. There's a difference when you're singing about God, and then you flip it and write a song to God. There's a whole different dynamic there, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So for hip hop, we love Seven, Gospel Gangsters, a lot of the old artists
the ones that got longevity, right?
Yeah, like Lil Rascal, Petty D.
Yeah.
Of course, KJ5 too.
You guys remember FTF?
FTF.
Yes. Wow.
Whoa, nah.
Big Cheddar.
Whoa,
whoa, not Woody.
Have you heard of the Ziglag Boys?
Ziglag Boys, yep.
Man,
what about the Life Row Boys? Do y'all know that?
Life Row.
Man, that's our style is based off of them pretty much.
I know, right? Malachi, I actually got a song with Malachi from Life Row. He went off and started doing his own thing. Yeah, he did Well, he what was the group that he started? Because they did another group after that.
It was he was Life Row Boys and then Gideon's Army.
Gideon's
That's
Army.
right.
That was it. Yeah. Yeah, he was always the standout artist though. Malachi, like,
Oh man, that boy, woo,
yeah.
Jesus.
FF5, Family Force 5.
Oh man,
Oh,
hold
we
up,
also-
wait a minute, put a little.
Yeah.
That if we was a rock band, we'd be
I feel like that would be us, yeah. But you was talking about writing songs too, God. We actually have on our Rain Dance album a song called 316. It's a love song, and it's talking about being awake at 3 a.m. because you can't sleep because somebody's on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And we wrote that to God. It's a worship song.
So, like,
slash
let's
love
say, like,
song to God.
It was like a prodigal son story where you're just like you know God's love, but you've been missing out on it for a long time, and then you just kind of it just dawned on you like at 3 a.m, like, I want that again. And so we wrote a song about that.
Yeah, that's good, man.
But we wrote it in the way that people could use it as a love song to their companion. We didn't really say God or Jesus or anything like that.
Yeah, so we try to be versatile in that sense, so that people can hear a song and be like, oh, that's for a girl. But then when they really get into it, or when they really know our walk, they go, dang, that's a Christian song.
Also, we don't want to, what is it called? Overdo it with the whole
Church
religion
thing.
thing. Yeah. We don't want to.
It definitely puts you in a box as being church rappers, and we're not going to listen to it. That's what I tell people, because like I moved from doing straight gospel rap, right? Just straight gospel. Everything was Bible verses and like Lecrae, like teaching the word and stuff like that. All testimony on how to kill the devil. When I first started, was shooting the devil with guns and all kind of stuff. Gangster
we got
Christian
songs
rap.
like that.
Yeah, but it puts you in that box, because like one thing I told people, because I done moved, I'm more spiritual. Obviously my faith is in my music for sure. I literally have worship. Most of my stuff is worship stuff, but it's done in such a way where it's open ended, I guess. But what I tell people is that, especially Christian rappers, is that you don't hear the D-boys and drug dealers riding through the hood bumping Lecrae. You just don't.
Right.
You don't hear it. But you and those guys aren't going by Lecrae CDs. They're not. Lecrae wishes they would. Right? He makes music for them to do it, and it lands on the right ears when it's supposed to. Right? But as far as like overall, but you do find Christians buying Lil Wayne CDs. You do find Christians buying all kinds of secular music. So to put yourself in that box would marginalize yourself so much, and it's gotta have a religious connotation in it. Obviously, there's a message and stuff like that, and what the scripture says: "Be wise as serpents, but harmless as doves." And so there's a way to be tactful about it, but But at the same time, it lets you get into the churches and the youth groups, which are fun too. You get to just show up and have a huge audience that you didn't even have to, pass out flyers or anything for, right?
Yeah, our Rain Dance CD and our Crunk Native CD is pretty much like that, where we went through a season where we don't want to be too preachy.
Yeah.
And a pastor got on to us about that, and we were like, look, man, we don't have to say Jesus to win somebody's soul.
Yeah.
We just got to live it.
Your life preaches a lot more than just words.
I was like, it ain't like we rapping about, twerking and then after the show we tell them, you need to get saved.
It's not like we went secular, but also Jesus spoke in parables and stories,
and that's what we wanted to do.
And that's what we do on our music. And
even though he had a lot of crazy stuff, man, I really believe like Tupac was like a psalmist, dude. He was just writing what he was going through, man. You know what I'm saying? My enemies are coming for me. They're trying to kill me. Like, that's what King David was writing about. I ain't got no friends. All my friends betrayed me. God, you the only thing I got left. Like, is that a song? We should do like a game show where we quote the psalm or we quote a Tupac verse and let people guess. Psalm or Tupac verse? Which is which,
Yeah, so basically I told that pastor, I was like, look, man, you got those artists that are all in with being preachy on a song.
Yep.
And then you have those artists that are never gonna preach on a song. I was like, if we're that stepping stone, it makes it easier for them to get over to that side.
Yeah. And plus, you don't want to scare the main people that needed Jesus.
Yeah.
You don't want to scare them away by saying Jesus.
Yep.
Because people will love good music regardless. So if we can be that stepping
Yep.
stone for them to be like, oh, I just now found out y'all, rap about Christ. And then they go, well, what else is there? Because even with this new age of internet, they're still locked under their suggestions through their apps or whatever of that area. They ain't being suggested what we're listening to.
Right.
So they have to have that notion of who else is out there that's positive rapping, and then or positive any kind of music, but like it's not being suggested to them because that's how the algorithm is set up.
Yeah.
So,
it works too, man. Like you guys know that. You've seen the fruit of it, and just because somebody doesn't get the vision, being a pioneer, and looking for affirmation in other people, you ain't finna pioneer nothing if that's the case. Because I definitely got that. Even with my stylistically, I was starting to put screaming in my rap songs, and like people in the hood, they like, nah, we're not hearing no scream rapping. We ain't feeling that. That sounds like a demon. It's like, listen, the people that I bump shoulders with, this is what we listen to, man. Screaming, beautiful worship screaming music too. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, there was a guy back when we were doing shows in the underground scene. I was doing the metal thing. There would be a lot of unsaved kids coming to the shows, but they're coming to the metal. Some bands were preachy. Sometimes there'd be secular bands, but there was just one kid, man, I remember that he listened to all the bands. He was at every show, and this joker was listening to Norma Jean. He was listening to Zayo, Under Oath, As I Lay Dying, Haste the Day, like all the big underground Christian metal bands. He had no idea that they were Christian. He wasn't a Christian, but he was listening to all of their music, and then one day, like an epiphany, it hit him. All these big bands that I'm listening to, because the Christians, they actually pioneered that sound, the underground Christian metalcore scene that was huge. The secular took from that and kind of didn't, they took it and made it their own. But it all hit him at once. He's like, man, all of these songs are talking about God. And he called me up like wanting to talk and wanting to give his life to the Lord, because all of this music that he was listening to, and it just all hit him at once, man, and it broke him down. I was like, wow, that's an amazing story, man. They finally got it one day. He heard one lyric that connected all of these bands that he was listening to, that they were Christian and they were singing about something deep. And that stuff was changing his mind, man. As you're listening to that, it changes the way you think, the way you feel about yourself. And so music is powerful, man. So that was a beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be different if they were only singing about Jesus every song. Jesus is the way. Right. Give your life to the Lord. Like,
yeah. So like for the longest time, I didn't think you could worship to that style of music. And we were at a church camp, and we seen this group that they were called Z-Pi, and they were like, we're gonna worship the Father. And then he starts taking his shirt off, and the guy's playing like a scary sound, like dun 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 dun, and then he pulls out this bucket of red paint, which you kind of know, and he puts this lamb's mask on, and he starts drawing a bloody cross on his chest.
That's that death metal, that Christian death metal, huh?
Yeah, and then they start going in, and they're like, Father, we need you.
Yep.
Let your presence reign on us. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
And then like just him screaming it like that, everybody in that whole building caught the Holy Ghost.
Because everybody else is screaming it too.
What? Yeah.
Somebody's going through some stuff, and they're screaming that to God. Father, we need your presence. And singing and screaming it from down here,
Life get that down and out. You gonna scream to God like that.
And I think what helped is that little skit he did before that. It just had everybody like, what in the heck? So they was focused on what's going on. And then when he did that, it was just like, hit everybody like, dang, man, I didn't know I could worship the music like that. And
What about like have you heard of the band For Today or Sleeping Giant?
Oh gosh,
yeah, For
yes.
Today.
Their
yeah.
lyrics are straight spirit filled, straight, you know what I'm saying,
Oh
warfare
man,
stuff.
Sleeping Giant. Their new stuff. Oh my God. Woo!
I love the worship to that stuff. I remember listening to, I think it's the Champions album or whatever, and I was driving in my work truck, and the album just came out, and I listened to it. I'm weeping. I'm driving my work truck, just crying, listening to Christian metal, every song, one after another. And I heard something on there that they were doing. They were praying in every song, and they did something that I do, is they pray when they record the songs, they'll pray and they'll speak blessings on it, but they'll turn it down. So as you're listening to this music, you got people praying for you in the background. I always tell people that you can't hear it, but you can feel it. You
That's
can feel it. And
amazing.
I'm listening to this music, just weeping, listening to a Christian metal album, and it's speaking right to my spirit, right where I was. And so that stuff, man, is beautiful.
Yeah, that's crazy. One thing we didn't talk about is just when early in our career, we were the religious rappers that always were at the house parties and doing secular events.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the Christians were always like, criticizing us for that.
Yep.
And you're speaking down on us, judging us and whatnot. But we knew we what we were there for. There were house parties we were at where a girl was finna get raped, and we had to jump in and save her, and people getting shot. And we there was one where was the cop getting jumped? Was that a house party?
Yeah, no, that was a club, but
A
cop
nightclub.
was getting jumped, and we intervened and scared everyone away.
Yeah, we had these firecrackers that we lit, and everybody thought somebody started shooting. So everybody scattered like roaches when they heard the pop. And we ran over to the security guard, and we're like, yo, that was us. Nobody's shooting. You're good, bro. And so,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just God set us up in a way that we're strong-minded, and not only just because he's my accountability partner, but like
iron sharpens iron.
We're just that strong-minded against certain temptations.
Yeah, drinking and alcohol. We don't do none of that stuff.
Yeah, women is out the window.
No drugs.
It's just like we just want to love God and party.
Yeah. And people always like ask us, man, y'all are so happy all the time. What is it? We're like, man, that's the joy of the Lord right there. And then we write songs about. We got one called "Roll It Up," and it sounds like a smoking song. We're talking about puffing on the Holy Ghost. And
like, take it in
and just absorb it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no high like that. The lies of this world, the alcohol and drugs, never satisfied.
Yeah.
And we got people just chasing that and going in a circle, and it don't take you nowhere. It just mess your whole life up. That stuff never satisfies. Try some Holy Spirit. Try that Lord, man. It's really good. Ain't nothing can touch it.
Yeah, I went through that too, going out, like from doing the church shows. We do churches, every weekend throughout the week too. And but then when I started getting into the club scene or whatever, doing my music at clubs, and some of the music was less preachy, right? It's still Christian rap or Christian rock, but it was less preachy. And a lot of the churches were like, man, what are you guys doing up in there? You ain't got no reason to be up in there. It's like, it's for the people who need our message. Everybody in church is already saved, and y'all want me to entertain church folks, like, But I would tell you this, that like, we started going to a biker church, and you know what I'm saying, they were into the rock and stuff, but they accepted me because they were different. They let me get up there and rap and throw shows there and concert. A bunch of bikers, man, who loved the Lord, and eventually they like when I told them I was doing a show, they'd come up. So I'd be downtown at the bar doing a show, and you hear all of these Harleys coming up real loud, and it's all these bikers getting off the bike to come to the hip hop show to support me. And they got all these dudes with vests on in the crowd. Come on, brother! I was like, heck yeah, man. For sure,
bikers are a unique type of group.
Yeah.
Cause I remember pulling up in, I think it was in New Mexico. We had a show, and when we pulled up to it was a bar. We pulled up to the bar, and then all I saw was bikes, and I was like, "Is this the right spot?" Because that looked iffy. So we get in there. I'm like, "Oh man, we finna get bottles thrown at us." Or every biker gang movie you could think of, you're thinking that in your mind, and then like we get up there and we're rapping and doing our thing, and then when we get off there, like, yeah, F yeah, we're like, all right, we're accepted. Big old dude, take a picture with my wife. I'm like, oh yeah, all right.
That was funny.
Yeah, yes sir.
Also, I want to say that one place God sent us was in Vegas. We did a show at a casino, and then after we get done, this guy comes up. He says, "Hey, man, I have a club. I would like you guys to come perform in my club." And so we're like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." And so he had a limo. We hop in the limo. We pull up, and it says "World's Largest Strip Club."
Yeah.
I'm like,
maybe it's behind the strip club.
Yeah. So we figured out it was the strip club. So we're like looking at each other like, do we go in? What?
I'm like, dude, if we don't go in, he might make us walk all the way back to the hotel.
We did like a quick prayer. We're like, okay.
Ask God about it, and I'm like, okay, look, here was what it is. We're gonna take our glasses off. We can't see nothing. We good. So we went in there and we did the show. A couple minutes after the show, this lady comes up, and we're kind of like, we don't want no dances, because the whole night, I don't know if like we made an impression on the owner, but he kept sending ladies over, and I know every lady was a different color. He was trying to figure out if we had a type. So I just kept brushing them off. There was one girl, she actually sat down and was talking to me and asking me, what I got to do to get a dance. I said, put some clothes on.
Put some clothes on. Jeez.
And she was like, I can't do that. And I was like,
Yeah, we had this other girl walk up, and she said she had been praying all night for, and maybe probably for the last couple of weeks, but for a sign from God. And she took us as that sign from God through our music, and
came to a job and spoke hope, right?
Yes, we sat there in the strip club and prayed for her right there, and she gave her life to Christ. And she needed to know whether she should keep doing the stripping or give her life to God and go where He tells her. So
man, you never know who's listening, man, and a lot of people are scared or not called to, or just scared to go into those places where God sends you, but that's why He raises you up. You never know who's listening to, man. Like listen, we got so many people listening to this podcast from every demographic that you can think of: Christian, atheist, New Age, Satanist, psychic, medium, like whatever you can think of, they're listening. I got a tweet this morning, blew my mind, because I speak against this a lot. I speak against it. I got a tweet. Go check my Twitter. I know y'all follow me on Twitter. A porn star tweeted that her go-to podcast on her flights is the TruthSeekah podcast. And I was like, is this a joke? I went to her page. It's literally a porn star retweeted to me and said her go-to podcast is the TruthSeekah podcast. You never know who's listening, man. Everybody from all walks of life. And we don't judge anybody, you know what I'm saying? We don't look down on anybody, but I know that's something that I speak against. On top of that, there's a lot of people I speak against what they're doing and they still listen, right? There's something in it that they identify with or whatever, because that's, you know what I'm saying? You're not what you do, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
God, and that's what people see. People see the outer appearance. So even, you know what I'm saying, this young lady, that's what we see. The first thing, oh, you're this, you're that. Oh, you're that. You guys are drug dealers. Okay. You guys are Christian rappers, right? But Christ looks through that and He sees our hearts, man. He sees us as the individual. So we have to learn to be able to see that, because other people say, oh, y'all went to a strip club? Okay, yeah, you're not coming to our church anymore or whatever. It's like, listen, man, you got to be able to look through that stuff for sure and see people.
We got fired from YFC for hosting a frat party.
Oh, we got blocked on Twitter by Joe Osteen. Joel Osteen.
Y'all wasn't
blocked
attacking
us.
him, was y'all?
No,
Okay.
it was his tweets was like just matching so well with certain songs that we had, and we would tweet and reply and put a song for those that might need it. And I guess we weren't doing it like
Well, we wasn't
You
bombarding
guys were
we
every
wasn't
spamming. You
bombarding.
guys were spamming Joel Osteen,
no,
man.
no, it was
No, I'm joking.
every other
Nah,
tweet, maybe a
it-
couple times a week, and he
Yeah.
just blocked us.
like we just picked a certain one and we were like that one matches that song. It wasn't like every tweet, but yeah. And then like also there's
Rapzilla blocked us on Twitter too. I'm just saying
Trying to get on, man.
that we don't do the pay to play.
Yeah.
I think that's what they got mad at.
Yeah.
We called them out.
Yep. Rapzilla.
Yeah.
TheSouth.com. Do you guys remember the South?
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
The South.
Not
I
a
mean,
lot of
that's
people
where-
remember that. I've had Trey 9 on here, interviewed him.
I think that's when we first heard your music.
The South?
Yeah.
No
Were
way.
you on the South?
Heck yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
where we first heard your music.
Wow,
And
dude.
we were
And
like,
that was a long time ago.
yeah, it was a long time ago.
One thing we also did, it was more Mike's idea, is when we had a store selling music, he would put these collaborations of different
Yep.
R&B artists together, faith-based R&B artists, and called it slow jams, and they would sell really, really nice. Because I mean, it was like Canton Jones.
Yeah.
And people would come back and be like, man, where can I get another CD? I'm like, go buy that whole album. I was like,
Look
this
at the
person
artist,
right
it
here.
had the artist name on there and everything.
I tell them where to get the CD. You know, just tell them it ain't even that much for the CD or whatnot. And, you know,
trying to share that quality content, because I mean, there's so much faith-based music that 10 times better than what the world is putting out.
I mean, like you said that, you know, with the whole, you know, you never know who's listening. Also, you never know how you treat people can change someone's life. So like we were at a festival and we had a booth next to this Muslim dude. And when he had to do his little prayer, we turned our music down just because, you know, we respect and honor how faithful certain Muslims are to, you know, their God or whatever. And we were like, you know, turn it down. And when he was done, he came over and he talked to us. He goes, now I noticed the music y'all play, y'all talk about Jesus and whatnot. And he was like, man, why did y'all turn it down when I was praying? I was like, because it's the right thing to do, man. Just, I don't want to take you out your zone. And he was just like, I've never met any Christians like y'all. I thought y'all hated us. And I'm like, nah, man, hate ain't what we do, man.
Hate don't live here.
I'm like, I said I honor the fact that, you know, y'all stay faithful like that. There should be more Christians out there being that faithful.
Yeah.
And he was all like, I noticed that y'all pray before y'all eat at every meal. And he was like, that put a thing in my spirit that how faithful y'all are to God. And we were like, I mean, it wasn't no big deal. We just like, it's just something we do. We love talking to God. So like, I don't know, but your actions can change somebody's heart.
Yeah. I've got a lot of friends, man. They're kind of like, as far as like what I used to do in the church rap, Christian rap stuff, and like to what I'm doing now, they would like rather me preach, like just do the Christian rap thing, or I used to be a street preacher as well. I did that for a while, and they're just big on the preaching of the gospel, and I am too. But like, I want to see you live it, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a lot of people preaching it that ain't living it, and like they're going unchecked. Like, because as long as they're preaching, as long as their confession is right, or they have this appearance of godliness, then they're okay. Which I'm totally against that, man. Like, I want, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I know you've heard the term preach the gospel, and if necessary, use words. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
So, so many Christian groups or faith-based groups ain't really representing Christ, and they have their own agendas, and that's, like I said earlier, that's what hardened the hearts towards Jesus, of many natives towards Jesus.
And I think that's a lot like why we do more secular stuff is because a lot of churches don't see us as a preachy group. But like we've done church faith-based stuff before, and they've asked us not to preach. And so like if you ask us not to preach, we're not gonna preach. We're just gonna do our set and get off. And then if we preach after that, we're preaching, personally to whoever comes up. But like never gonna dishonor a pastor or a festival if they tell us not to preach. The only way we would do that is if like America's Got Talent, when they told us not to say Jesus, and we got up on there and we was like, I'm Jesus. there's a Jesus there's a Jesus in between us. So we were like, yeah,
that's a lot of a lot.
So
of people don't see
whenever
TV.
you guys said that, y'all weren't talking about another brother. Y'all were talking about Christ when you said that.
Pretty much, we have a brother named Baby Jesus, but the Jesus we was talking about was Jesus.
Nice.
But our names are Jesus though.
But
we don't go.
They told you not.
We
to
don't go by
mention
Jesus.
That.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we changed our line we changed our verse to the verse that actually says Jesus on the rap song. So
yeah, I noticed that.
I think I think they tried to cut it out, but they missed the part.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Also, a lot of people don't know about that. Our appearance on that show is us getting kicked off was part of our plan, because 2 years before our AGT appearance, we auditioned in Texas to be on the show, and they said that we're not looking for rappers. It's all good. Then 2 years later, they called us and said, we'd like you guys to audition. We're like, click. And they called back. We're like, hey, we really want you guys to audition. We saw your tape on YouTube. We're like, no thanks. We're good. We're not wasting time. Y'all ain't looking for rappers, blah, blah. And they called back and said, we really, really want you guys. We're like, okay, if you're serious, take the tape you saw and use that as an audition. And
they called us back and said they want us. I'm like, hold up, man, what video did you watch?
We go watch this video. It's a morning show here in Oklahoma City. And it was like, 6 a.m?
Yeah.
It was early. We wasn't really awake, but we did this slow song that we had.
A slow song called Welcome to Oklahoma.
It's a cool song, but it's not, to us, it's not a performance song. Mm-hmm. And we're like, wow, that's the video you saw?
Yeah, so we were like, all right, we'll do it. I was like, wait till you get a load of me. So we get up there and we do it. And the funny thing was they sent us 80-page contract, and we ended up telling them, look, man, this contract too thick, man. I don't know about it.
We had our entertainment lawyer look over it. He said, man, if y'all was my artist, I would not do it.
So yeah, we told him no again. And then the fourth time they were like, man, we really want y'all on the show. And the entertainment lawyer, he hit us up and said that if you get on and get off, you'll be good. And we were like, we could do that. So no problem.
So we had to do one performance for the show and then get kicked off. And so we go to San Antonio, which is where we did the AGT appearance. We do it, and they love us. They fly us out to Vegas, right?
Yeah.
And for the second episode, and here's the crazy thing: we spent a week in Vegas for AGT, and most of the time we're sitting in a room with all the talent, and it's like we basically went to Vegas to go to jail. It felt like jail.
Had to wear the same clothes every day.
Yeah, they had us
locked in a room.
You had to look like it was the same day. So you wore the same clothes, and we got a bunch of strange people around us all chatting. And wow, it's just weird.
Showbiz.
Yeah. And they started sending people straight through to New York. And me and Mike got scared without doing a second performance. They were sending people.
Man, we was praying.
Yeah, we started praying, no lie. And because if they sent us to New York, we would have been locked under contract for 15 years.
Wow.
And
well, any like shows that you book off of that, they're trying to get a percentage of that?
Oh yeah, they get a chunk.
They had their hands in both pockets.
Wow.
And we was like, yeah, we don't want that.
Not everybody knows that. You get a deal, but they get like a percentage of every show that you book, because they kind of you use their platform to get those shows,
Yeah.
right?
All those talent shows, every talent show you see on TV is like that. They got, it's like a shady record deal, basically.
Wow. I need to do that with this podcast. You guys make any sales? I need a little percentage now. Wow, that's crazy, man. So you guys are in Oklahoma, so you guys must know or at least bump shoulders with Dylan Chase, Christian rapper.
Yes, sir. He's a real cool dude.
Yeah.
He's the homie.
Yeah, I got a song with him too. He's dope. Yeah.
Huh. That's what's up.
Dylan
Chase is pretty cool dude.
Yeah. Was there any influence from Bone Thugs with the Mike Bone and Funny Bone, like Bone Thugs?
Yeah. Did you hear that song?
Well, yeah. What is it?
The song Pop Pop?
No, but I can hear it in the rhyme scheme a little bit. I hear Busy coming out every now and then.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So like, Bone Thugs was
really big.
Played a part. Just because one thing that stood out for us, they were the only rap group where their name was actually a logo, and that's kind of like where we were like, yo, we got to make our name a logo, because every time you see it, it was just that old English Bone Thugs and Harmony. We want people to see our name and be like, oh, no question, that's Mike Bone. Mm-hmm. So
I've actually had Busy on the podcast. I did a podcast with Busy. Yeah.
Dang, that's cool.
Really cool.
But and with our music, when we buy beats, we try to find out what that beat is speaking to us. And so like all these eras of hip hop start going through our head, like, oh, it should sound like this. Oh, it should sound like that.
Yeah, we're very versatile, and I think that's what our fans like most about us is not every track sounds the same.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Who's the better hook writer? Who writes better hooks?
We have our days.
Yeah, we have our days.
It used to just be me. Hey. But like,
I came up on it, and I with the rain dance. It was born in high school. I tell the story all the time on interviews, but my senior year, I wasn't. There was no talent show, and I wanted to go out with a bang, and so the only thing was a cultural day event, and they said if I wanted to perform, I had to write a song that was ethnical and educational. So I got in the books and got to work and started researching our culture, and Rain Dance was born. So
nice, awesome song, man, and it definitely opened up some doors for you guys, and people fell in love with you guys from that song. That was awesome. And I want to put this out there. If anybody has any questions while we still have Mike Bone here on the podcast, let me know in the comment section. If anybody has any questions you want me to ask them. Since you're on the TruthSeekah podcast, man, we gotta go deep, man. I gotta talk to you about any spiritual or like paranormal experiences, any UFOs or ghost stories or anything like that, man. Things that go bump in the night. Y'all had any of those experiences?
We were getting ready to open our store one day. My first Holy Ghost experience. I was brushing my hair. Wasn't even paying attention. The TV was on a church channel. It was like live Sunday service. And it wasn't really loud, but I was brushing my hair, wasn't even paying attention. And the Holy Ghost just dropped on me. And I fell to my knees and started screaming.
Sound like an old lady being beat down.
I started screaming this joy and love and everything just came over me. And I was like, man, I'm screaming, and everybody runs into the room, and they're like, what's going on? What's going on? And what happened then? I think I was like that for like how long?
The whole day. We couldn't even go to work that day.
Wow.
It was
Were you just crying and shaking?
Dude,
and just,
yes.
Yeah, I love those times, dude.
Powerful.
I love that. I've had those experiences too where like literally I talk about for like the next 3 days, if anybody mentions Jesus' name, I just start crying. Because it brings me right back of how close he is and that beautiful encounter. You know, that's awesome.
One spiritual or paranormal experience happened right kind of when this whole pandemic thing kicked off. So we get a knock at the door and it's a little kid. And I'm like, oh man, somebody found out where we live. And so we're like, I'm like, oh, what's up? And he was like, are you guys the Indian guys? And we're like, yeah, hold on. I shut the door and I grabbed a flyer, and I'm open the door and I'm signing. I hand it to him, and he's like, what? He's like, my dad wants to talk to y'all. I'm like, oh, here. I was like, well, shoot, man, just tell him to message us on social media. And then he's like, okay. And then he goes back. His dad comes over. He was like, are you guys Indian? And we're like, yeah. And he's all like, okay, cool, because we got some spirits in our house. And I'm like, what? And he has this video of his kid being tormented by orbs. And he's like, screaming, like, leave me alone, stop touching me. I'm like, dang, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo,
let's go.
I'm like, I gave him some sage, I gave him some cedar, even a bit of sweet grass, and I told him, look, man, when you pray, tell that demon or whatever it is to get out of your house. You have authority over every evil demonic presence in your house. You also have authority over angels, so you can call down angels to come down and protect your house. And I was like, you got to do it with authority and
confidence.
Boldness.
Yes.
Confidence. And, a day goes by and he's all like, he comes over, he was like, it got worse. I'm like, man.
I hate that.
I
did what you told me to do, and it got worse.
We looked at each other because we know the power that's in us.
I'm like, bro. I'm like, so I was like, give us a minute. We're going to pray up and
we strapped up and
get ready. So I'm like, man, we head down the block. We're walking. Gun. He's telling us what happened. Like a piece of the artwork fell off or got thrown off the wall. And then a piece of, I guess he had like liquor bottles stacked up on top of the fridge, and they got knocked over, but they didn't break. So they heard something fall, but nothing broke. And the bottle was standing straight up in the middle of the ground or whatever. And I was like, that's kind of crazy. It landed. But we get over there, man, we chasing this evil spirit around.
It's running through the house.
I feel it in the closet.
It was running. We were using the name of Jesus.
I feel it in the closet, and I open the door, and I feel this hot air just go right past me. I'm like, this food just. I'm like, I was pissed. I was like, yo. I turn around, and I could feel it like leave the back room. Like they had the backyard door open, and I could feel it go out that way. So we start, blessing every four corners of the house.
It's all done, right?
Saging it, praying over every room, double checking every room. And then I get to the doorways. I'm blessing the doorways, and when I get to the back room, I can feel the evil presence, like out in the backyard, like toward the trees. I could feel it, like if it wanted to come back in. And it was just waiting for us to leave. And so I'm like, well, shoot, I'm going to go ahead and bless out the outside too then. So I'm blessing the outside and whatnot. And I get back in the house, and we're basically, coaching them through what to do. And what you saw, you got to be bold. You got to be thorough. You can't be just, cast it out in one area. You got to, get in there. And, we were talking, and then the dog gets up and was growling at the door, and I noticed it. They didn't notice it, but I look at the dog. I'm like, yeah, I hear it. And then two people's car alarms go off down the street, and I'm like, yep, it's mad.
Wow, yeah.
And so I'm like, it's mad because it can't get back in this house, and so like. They ain't hit us back up after that. So I'm like, yo, we cleared it. And I wouldn't have went over there if I didn't know, because you don't want something to attach to you in those things if you don't know your authority over those entities or whatever. But one thing that gave us confidence is like we had a birthday party to go to, and it was at a haunted mansion, but we didn't know it was a haunted mansion, and we didn't know where the birthday party was. So we pull up to the front of the house, and we walk in, and there's a haunted tour going through, and they have a medium with
A
them.
psychic medium was giving the tour, and
And as soon as we walk in, she was like, "Well, they just left."
she was like, I don't know who you guys are, but when y'all came in, the spirits left.
And we were like, "Okay, where the party at?" And they didn't know what we was talking about. And then one of the owners was like, "Oh, the pool party's over at the pool. You have to go around." So we're like, "That was weird." And then like we do the birthday party, and they were like, "We're going to do the haunted tour," and we were like, "Yeah, we can't do that because you probably won't find nothing."
Also, like when babies are crying and we walk by, they just stop and stare at us, and the moms will be like, "What you do to my kid?" Like it just blows the mind, and we're like, "I don't know, it's something on me, I guess." And then there was this one instance where a police horse.
Oh yeah, that thing was sizing us up or something. It was walking sideways.
It started sidestepping,
like it wouldn't
and
stop looking
at
at us. And the policeman was trying to like steer it, and we're like, "Man, what is wrong with your horse?" He was like,
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I had a experience where right when I got born again, a couple years later, when I wanted to start trying to do Christian rap, the first time getting into rap, I didn't know where to begin, didn't know how to get beats, all that kind of stuff. So I told myself, you know what, I'm going to just remake popular songs. And I was like, I'm going to, you know what I'm saying, try to remake a DMX song. It's like, you know what, I'm really into? Bone Thugs and Harmony. But I understood what Bone Thugs and Harmony represent, the Ouija board and getting lyrics from the Ouija board and all kind of death and summoning and crazy stuff. But so I knew it was kind of iffy, but I was like, stylistically, that's what I want to sound like. Let me do a Christian version of a Bone Thug song.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine's little brother had the East 99 CD, and it's got the skulls on there, and the skulls with a blunt in its mouth and all that. I got the CD, he let me borrow it, and I brought it home, and I'm listening to it. So I play it, I figure out what song it was, and I'll play it, and then I'll pause it. So I'm listening to the lyrics, and I'm writing a Christian version of that verse. And listen, pause, and I'm writing this verse, but I feel kind of weird because I know I'm not supposed to be like listening to this music. Maybe it was this weird thing of like, this was me justifying listening to Bone because I'm doing a Christian version of it or whatever. So there was already that weird stigma there that I knew it was kind of weird to be messing with. That night we go to bed, me and my wife, and so we're laying in bed sleeping, and 3 o'clock in the morning, out of nowhere, we wake up to this loud screaming of what sounds like the devil laughing. Really loud. What happened was, I knew what it was. I recognized it. It's from the intro, from the East 99 CD. There's a courtroom scenario, and they sentenced them to death by electric chair. And then the devil comes on screaming really loud, or the judge, and it's demonic. And it drops in really loud. And so we're 3 o'clock in the morning, wake up out of the middle of a sleep to that turned up all the way in the living room. The CD player turns on that part all the way up, wakes us up, the devil screaming in the room. And like I knew it was a CD because I've heard that 1,000 times, but I was like, it freaked me out because I thought that somebody broke in the house and stepped on the remote.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I thought somebody's in the house and stepped on the remote. So I'm like, oh man. And it just starts playing Bone Thugs and Harmony, rapping backward and stuff. And it's like, oh man. So I go in there freaked out. I get that CD, I break it and throw it out the door. I was like, man, I'll give you money, you buy you another one. I got to get this out of my house, man. But yeah, that's a crazy experience that I had, being woken up to Bone Thugs playing.
Yeah,
on
see,
the
a
CD
lot of
player.
people don't know, man. Like, a lot of these artists can like, oh, I'm gonna do this for an album, and be like, oh, it's just for a joke or it's just for a skit. But like, they can open certain doors that and then not close them through music or through movies or whatever. And you gotta know, you gotta be sensitive to the spirit realm so that you know what is open. And like I felt when you were saying, you felt something wrong.
Yeah.
I think that was your sensitive, your spirit man being sensitive to the fact that there was a door being open, and should have been closed, but I mean,
got closed at 3 a.m.
yeah.
Lord
But
forgive
like,
me.
yeah, there's certain things like we would research styles a lot, and then there'd be certain songs that you'd be like, oh man, I can't
Yeah.
even listen to the rest of this.
Yeah.
And it ain't cause like, oh, my ears will bleed because of the cuss words or something like that. It's cause the how can I break it down? Okay, so like when an ending says, I can't let you braid my hair because I don't know what your spirit is like.
Energy. Yeah.
Yeah, because if someone that has a bad attitude braid your hair, that attitude will rub off on you all day. Or if somebody that cooks with a bad attitude, then you're gonna have a bad attitude. Superstition or not, energy is real in the earth. And just like that, the energies in the music, in the video games, can cause doors to open or your mind to be hypnotized into acting a certain way that you don't even recognize as yourself.
Yeah.
And so like that's why we're like, man, be careful what you listen to, be careful what you watch.
If you follow Busy Bone, he's doing better now. I'll say that. But Busy Bone went down a wild path. All of them did, really. But listening to him, and because I had him on the podcast and we talked about Jesus. Like, he's got songs about Jesus, right? He's he's pretty vocal about Christ and stuff now. But I asked him about some of that stuff, and he won't admit to it. He says that it was a joke, that it was a Parker's Brothers game, the Ouija board, and that Eazy-E made them do it and stuff. But then I talked to other people who really knew them and said, no, they was into some dark stuff back then, man. Like some really dark stuff. And there's no way that you can listen to some of the interviews or listen to the music and just think you're playing. You got to know some deep stuff to put that in your lyrics. Yeah. Them and 3 6 Mafia. You know what I'm saying? They had all kinds of, you're talking about Hypnotizing Minds. That was the name of their label, Hypnotized Minds. You know?
Yeah.
666, all that stuff, man. Yeah.
So like, when people refer to like natives as witchcraft, I'm like, look, when you listen to music, that's witchcraft in itself because it's chanting. And when you allow certain chants to be stuck in your mind, you can either have that chant speak life or speak death into you, speak prosperity or speak curses into you. So when we see a lot of the teenagers listening to only like emotional, depressing, I want to die songs.
Yeah.
We're like, look, that's why you're stuck in your emotional depression, is because you're only allowing that substance to chant that into your life. So you need to
speaking it over yourself.
You need to have balance at least. If you ain't going like, TED Talk all your music, at least have a balance. Like if you listen to one sad song and it makes you feel away, it's like watching a scary movie. If that scary movie freaked you out to the point where you can't go to sleep, you might want to watch a cartoon.
Yep.
I tell people all the time, you are what you eat, so be careful what you feed your mind.
That's it. I think we have a mutual friend. I think he tried to hook us up after I interviewed him about 2 years ago. I mentioned Andy Bird, Psalm. Y'all know him?
Oh yeah, Psalm.
Yeah, he told me that. He's like, man, you should get those guys on. I was like, man, I tried to email them a while back. I never got a response or whatever. And I was like, yeah, he's like, yeah, man, I'll talk to him. And that was 2 years ago. And I know I've tried to get you guys on. I probably emailed the wrong address or emailed an account that wasn't valid anymore or something. But yeah, shout out to him. He had him on a couple of years ago.
That's what's up. Yeah. I mean, if we would have saw TruthSeekah the name, we would have been like, we listen to dude.
That's crazy. Y'all remember me from the South, though, man. I feel like there's only a few people who remember that stuff. Like, I love that nostalgia.
Yeah, when we listen to a song, it's not like we throw away songs when new songs come. Like if we like a certain song, it's stuck in our playlist. So like, It's in there.
Music is timeless, and that's what we tell folks. And so I mean,
You remember Mike Shelton?
yeah,
Mike Shelton. I still talk to him on Instagram.
Nice. What about
The
SoCom?
barber.
SoCom.
Oh yeah,
So calm. Hey, we did a couple shows with him.
His first show, we actually hooked up through the South and SoundClick. Maybe one or the other, but we got hooked up when he first got started. He did his first show as a Christian rapper with me. Dude drove like 24 hours to come, and we set up a show here locally. And his first show we did our features together. Then I ad-libbed him, and we mixed our sets together. It was really fun. So shout out to SoCom, yeah.
That's what's
The
up.
South.
Yeah. Man, a lot of good memories with the South.
Yeah, and then they sold it and they pretty much monetized it. You know what I'm saying? They made it to where like they had that form where I miss it, man, because people could come together and we would do features. Like that's how I hooked up with Mike Shelton, was through there. And I traded work. I used to do their graphic art, especially on the MySpace days. I get a feature from them, but I would do graphics and hook their MySpace up, you know. And so I've got songs with, you know what I'm saying, Mike Shelton and SoCom, everybody. And it was through the South. But then they took the forms away and made it they made it Rapzilla. Pay to play. If you want your stuff on here, if you want to collab, if you want to get noticed, you got to pay us. And it wasn't cheap, you know. And I hate that they did that, man. That was something beautiful they had back in the day before Facebook and social media and stuff.
Right. Yeah, see, now I do agree that you can invest in yourself in certain things, but like for us, a pay to play thing, like I love organic because that makes me see who's actually putting in work to hunt for our music. I don't want fake views or fake likes.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
I've paid for Facebook and Twitter and Instagram just to test it out.
Yeah.
And then when I must be dirty or creepy or shady like that, but I would go through and try to repay people who liked the video or the content, and I would go through and try to blow them up real quick just to let them know I appreciate it.
Yeah, and that's another thing.
And it'd be robots.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that's dirty. I paid for robots? That's messed up.
And plus, if you pay for likes and all that, I mean, those people ain't coming to your shows. So it's like a letdown. And the people those likes that you pay for are not going to buy the merchandise or stream the music or buy the music. And it's not going to tell their friends and family. It's got to be organic.
Yeah, I like to know. I'm with you. I like to know what I'm doing. Like like if the video's getting out there, is it being messed up by the algorithms? Like, are people even seeing it? And it's so weird that like over the years the algorithms have changed, man. To like you guys know this, like being in it for so long. You do a video and it blows up. Now you'd put out a video and just the traction's really slow and it gets stuck and it won't go any further. Like YouTube's not even showing it to your subscribers and all kinds of stuff, dog. Like, that sucks, but at least you know what it's doing.
Yeah, so like it's just like they give you a taste of what you could have, and then
you pay them.
And then all of a sudden they give you that suggestion. You know, you get more views if you pay us this much, and we're like, nah, I'm good.
So I think our Twitter. That's one thing we don't like about our Twitter is the algorithms all messed up. TikTok, on the other hand, I think that's more
organic.
And organic. Yeah.
But you know what about TikTok? It'll get you exposure. I don't, just in my mind, even like we're trying to buy an ad or promo with TikTok or something because it's huge right now. I love it, but I feel like it would be hard to get people off of TikTok to come to your channel. Like to get people off of TikTok, because TikTok is like just thumb scrolling. Let me pass some time and scroll. So for someone to stop on your video and go to, you know, your YouTube or your Facebook, at least they know who you are from that later on.
Right.
But for me, it was like there's like a disconnect of trying to get them to leave. You can get them to you know, click on Facebook video and go to YouTube, or even leave YouTube.
Something that we do that's different. I'm like, we say, oh, we got free music on our website. Go to mikebonemedia.com and or sometimes they just like the shirts that we're wearing, and we're like, go to MikeBoneMedia.com, and that helps a lot because I put every social media link and anywhere that you go download our music is at the very top in the link. So it's just like they have that quick when they see that logo, they be like, oh, they're on there too. Bang, let me get on there and check it. But like, we got free music on there.
Yeah.
So people don't turn down free music. So I'm like, yeah, that's a cool thing. We have free downloads of different albums on our site, and then if you like that, you can buy our albums that that we charge for, and then
y'all's merch game's on point too. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Seven. You said something about Seven. They're, you know what I'm saying, they got the merch game on lock. But y'all's merch game is pretty dope too, right? Y'all got a lot of merch.
It's pretty good. I'm working on a rated R shirt right now. Not like that though. It looks like the rated R logo or whatever they think, and it's gonna say resilient, and it's gonna have some scriptures on there. So
we got a ton of t-shirts, leggings. We got face masks now since that's a thing, and we got all kinds of stuff. Like we've been sharing. We made a couple separate pages. We got powwow swag, which is for more of the native and indigenous people, and it's just all kind of fits that. And then we have faith-based tees, and that's faith-based, like crosses and different things about God. And
what's up? I went to my first green corn ceremony a couple years ago.
Ooh, that's cool.
Really cool. It was cool. I didn't. They had some medicine that they were doing, but I didn't. I didn't get in on that because I was like an outsider. And so, but it was really cool to be a part of that. And I didn't stay the whole time. Like we just came for several hours. But it's like 2 or 3 days where they go out and fast and they got the family outside and everything. Big ceremony. It was really cool to see them because it's a little part of our tribe here, Porch Creek, where like that they're like trying to maintain some of the indigenous ways. You know what I'm saying? Versus like, because I've always heard like after the powwow, while everyone's in town, like after the powwow, they go into the woods and really do a powwow. Like got the fire going, they're partying, they're dancing, they're really getting it in. And I was 49. Like, man, I always wanted to get in on one of those, man, but nobody would tell you. It's like invite only and stuff. So finally, we went to the powwow and we stopped at the museum up here, and somebody there was talking about it and invited my mom, and my mom wasn't going to go, but she told me, and I was like, hey, let me get y'all's number. And so I was invited to the green corn ceremony, and it was awesome, really cool. So I wish I was able to do the medicine with them. I don't know exactly what it was. They were saying, they didn't really tell me, saying it was some type of a blend of herbs and plants and stuff like that they, I think, scratched themselves, put little scratches on them and put the medicine in there, and kind of helps them to fast and work to get some things out of them and stuff like that. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, we made some kind of tea that we saw somebody else do, and it was actually pretty good tea. And I guess it was supposed to cleanse everything out and also boost your immunity. So like our whole family was like had scratchy throats or whatever, and we were like, man, we getting this out. And so made that tea and cleared everybody up. I'm like, dang, that's crazy.
Some questions here really quick. If anybody has any questions, let me know. I'm gonna ask them. But Chris Lopez says, what tribe are you guys from?
We are Pawnee and Choctaw. Yes, sir, Pawnee, and that's the Central Plain Indians from the Wolf Clan. So I got a tattoo actually. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's basically the wolf, the logo.
Nice.
I took out the peace part because we don't like really promoting smoking anything. So that's one reason I took that out. So, let's see. Also, I got this tattoo. If you can see this, Alpha and Omega.
Nice.
Live for the Creator, and God is love. So throw it up.
That's dope.
And this in sign language is I love you or love. So
Dope. We got another question. Says, what are the challenges associated with the career that you've chosen, and what are the benefits? So challenges doing what you guys are doing, and the benefits.
I would say the challenge is financial,
right.
Because we don't own a studio.
Yeah.
It gets really pricey when making an album.
Yeah.
So like between $50 to $100 an hour, depending on how much you want to spend on the quality of a song.
And then the beat.
Oh yeah, and then the beat.
Yeah.
Jesus.
The mixing and mastering. And the fact that we're independent doesn't help.
Yeah, so like, but you spend all that money on an album, and we try to fill up the whole album. So like for us, a CD is like an hour long or whatever, and we try to fill up that whole hour of music. And
we've always put out like 20 tracks per album.
Yeah, so like it gets real pricey for us. So like
we just try to give the fans what they pay for, because I mean we didn't see the justice in artists putting out 5 and 10 track albums. Like, come on now, I want an album.
Yeah. And then that's, I guess that would be the con part. The pros are just seeing what good our works do.
Yes. The powerful impacts it's making in people's lives.
So like one testimony would be like a fan was diagnosed with cancer and told that she was not going to live. And, we told her, well, one of her bucket lists was to come and hang out with us. And we told her, yeah, we'll clear our schedule. If you make your way down here, we'll call that a show, I guess.
And we'll meet up with you.
We hung out with her. We prayed for her, and she went back, got tested, and she was clear.
That's what's up.
No cancer.
Yeah.
And
that's on YouTube as well. Mike Bo Music on YouTube. Let's see. Just different people saying that our songs, like one of our latest songs, God's Got This, it has just saved their life, has impacted their life, and helped them to get through tough situations, and just see that, God still has a plan. And even though life is crazy, he's still in control. So.
Oh, I know another con. Hey, when you do, well, yeah, when you do get a kind of like a status and a status point, you get a lot of people who claim they're your friends,
yeah,
or that they support you in a way, and then it turns out not to be that case.
A lot of people trying to use you too.
Or like even relationship wise, we've been single for like a long time. It's hard to find that certain person who's with you because of you and not for your status.
Yeah, not for the fame and not for the money. We actually have a song called Wifey, and that was our big hit before Rain Dance. And the Wifey is me singing, and it's just saying waiting on my wifey, and it's saying that it's like talking about not taking the approaches by females, and not giving in to the temptation, and just not giving into your flesh, and just waiting for that marriage to give in, so to speak. So, and we wanted to do a video for that. We planned to do a video for that where it's like a bedroom scene and type of stuff, and the guy's denying it. We also got a request from fans to do a remix called Hubby for the ladies, so they can sing "Waiting on Their Hubby."
So hopefully, we'll get that in the works.
That's what's up. For sure. Up in Oklahoma, have you guys ever been to Turner Falls?
Turner Falls, yeah, Falls Creek.
Yeah, I went up there. My mom lived up there for a little bit of time, and we went and visited and went there. It was pretty dope.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Uh-huh.
That's what's up. So, listen, man, if people want to book you guys, they want to get merch, all that cool stuff, what's a good place for them to go? You guys on Spotify and all that stuff too?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Spotify.
Online everywhere.
Online.
MikeBoneMedia.com for all the links.
Yep, all the links you could think of is on MikeBoneMedia.com.
And like you said, we got t-shirts, we got free downloads, face masks. If you want to look cool and represent and support, MikeBoneMedia.com. And we got songs about everything too. So any occasion, pretty much. We actually had to write a funeral song because we kept getting booked to do funerals because people wanted to remember their loved ones in a happy way, not sad, So we wrote a song called After Party, and it's just talking about we will meet again at the after party, and it's an upbeat song, so it's not. Yeah, it's not like when you hear it, you're gonna be like, dang. It's more of a dance track, and where you can clap to it and bounce to it, and yeah, we still get booked for the funerals. Matter of fact, I just hit somebody on Twitter, and they're gonna use that song at their memorial, so it's pretty awesome.
That's what's up, man. So hey, thanks for coming on the podcast, guys, and really appreciate what you guys are doing, all of it. You know what I'm saying? The indigenous side. Staying true to that, your love and relationship for Christ, huge too, man. I'm a fan. Thanks so much for hanging out, man. I really appreciate it, guys.
Thank you for having us on, man. It's been a blessing.
For sure. Y'all be blessed, man. Shalom, shalom,
Sir.
peace.
Nice to finally meet you.
For sure, guys. We'll have to catch up, man.
Definitely,
Right.
definitely.
All right. Peace. Mike Bone, Lil Mike, and Funny Bone. Y'all remember them from AGT? We fell in love with them. Like, my family were rooting for them. I'm pretty sure that we voted for them. Fell in love with them and their swag. And then, the Christian rap too, representing for the Lord. Good stuff. Love what they're doing, man. And it's cool that they go back and we have some, our paths crossed. They knew who I was from back in the day. That's pretty cool. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Make sure to subscribe wherever you're listening to this at. Make sure that you check out everything that we got coming out. My book is here again. If you have not had a chance to get that, get you a copy. Also, you can get it for free at audibletrial.com/TruthSeekah. So go there and you can get a free version of the audio book, and it doesn't cost you a thing. And I still get a kickback on that. So make sure you check that out. We have our co-ed retreat coming up. It's December the 12th. At the time that this is out, October the 1st, there's literally 2 female seats left, and I think we have 5 male seats for anybody who wants to get in on our co-ed retreat, reset, refresh, and renew. And October the 18th, we're kicking off the launch of my course that's almost 2 years in the making. We're kicking off the Path of the Healer course that I've been working on. So we talked about healers. So if anybody's looking to step out in that, go through your own inner healing process, we're going to be doing that, but we're also going to launch you and set you up where you can take other people through intuitive healing, one-on-one sessions, how to book it, all that stuff. I'm going to teach you everything that I know and everything that I do on that end. So if you're interested in that, it's an 8-week program. We're starting October the 18th. Check it out at TruthSeekah.com. More music coming. Got some more music on my Patreon right now. I think there's 3 new songs up there. Getting ready to finish up another new one that I'm feeling really, really good about. You get access to that on Patreon. So go check it out. Patreon.com/TruthSeekah. We'll do it again very soon, guys. Peace. Shalom.
Your way so much higher than mine. So much higher than mine. So much deeper than mine. So much deeper than mine.
Well, that does it for this episode, folks. To hear more episodes of the TruthSeekah podcast, head over to TruthSeekah.com. And if you're wanting to support the show and get rewards, go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/TruthSeekah.